What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Word of Mouth and another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays.
Start with the vision, then make a killing. You gon' make you $1 million, they gon' make you a villain.
If you are new to the Word of Mouth community, thank you for joining. If you are new to the YouTube channel, Tech Talk Thursdays is a episode of Word of Mouth where I'll just be discussing and highlighting, bringing awareness to different innovative technologies. I'll be covering anything physical technology, mobile application, basically any tech that was created and started by a black person. We'll talk about it here on Tech Talk Thursdays. According to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, mental health illnesses have been on the rise, and currently they are at about 19%, which is almost every 1 out of 5 Americans suffering from a mental health illness, from anxiety to depression, different illnesses that may have been caused by different things. You know, there's a ton more, but we know that there's a cause, we know that there's an effect. What if I told you that there could potentially be a prevention? Basically, here's the seed that's been planted. David McCullar was sick, had some stomach issues, went to the doctor. They gave him some pills, said it was gastrointestinal, like something was wrong with his intestines. They gave him some medicine. Over time, the medicine proved to hurt worse. So he started researching some different methods of, healing. Some various methods, which took him to Phoenix, Arizona, to a neurofeedback clinic. When he got to Phoenix, Arizona, and went through a neurofeedback test, So what is neurofeedback brain training? Basically, you're hooked up to a brain-computer interface. They have the wires and stuff on your head, and they show you or they say something that may invoke anxiety, and then they scan your brain to see what patterns or what part of your brain isn't lit up, or whatever the case may be. They record that information on the computer, and then they actually do the same thing except for the opposite. They may show you something, or they may ask you to think about something that's going to make you calm, and they record what part of your brain lights up or what kind of wave patterns that they get in your brain whenever you're trying to be calm. So then they keep showing you stuff that's going to maybe induce anxiety, or they may keep telling you things or have you to think about stuff that's going to cause anxiety, and then they want you to practice being calm. And when you're calm, the brain pattern will match, and then you'll be shown a reward, or like you'll be shown your favorite thing to eat or your favorite movie. That's what they mean when they say reward. But yeah, so when you're acting calm, whenever you're being shown something anxious or you're thinking about being anxious, you will be rewarded. And on the flip side of that, whenever you're anxious, you'll be suffering this consequence. So like the screen will start to fade. You'll just be notified that you're actually doing this wrong, or you're getting it wrong, or you're being anxious instead of being calm. So then they repeat the process, and that's how they train your brain, or your brain gets practice, being calm instead of anxious, so that way you'll be able to do it subconsciously. And that's how neurofeedback is supposed to work, at least from my understanding. He found out that the issues he was having was actually caused from stress, and it was not gastrointestinal like the regular doctors at the hospital said. Upon learning this information, doing about 12 sessions and recovering and actually healing from this process, David took his newly learned information back to Michigan and founded the first Neuro Fitness Center. The Neuro Fitness Center is now being rebranded as Inception. And Inception is a mental health gym that provides services that help with relieving stress, overcoming trauma, alleviating depression, and also improving mental focus. The services that they offer at the mental health gym include flotation therapy, salt therapy, the magnetosphere, and also neurofeedback brain training. It is basically priced like a spa. You go in and you pay for your session. I believe you can get a membership, just like a spa where you would pay monthly. And according to David, because there's a lot of science that goes into these as far as when it comes to your brain and how we relate to stress and trauma and how we react to it. So there's a video that I'll put a link to the description as well, where David just breaks down the science of it and how the reactions we give to stress or anything that's happening really is just like a signal to a certain part of our brain that's telling us to react one way. But we can train our brain and tell it and be prepared to when that signal comes, it goes to a different part of our brain to think a little bit more different. And like I said, he goes more in depth with the actual terms, scientific terms and things like that. But he says that if you continue to use this, you know, go to a mental health gym on a consistent basis, then you'll be able to start to interrupt those patterns and you'll start to just cope, and your brain will be rewired. And through this, people going through this will be able to share some information along with other people who may not be able to afford it. But overall, you know, the knowledge is being passed around and we can create just better mental health all around. It is no secret that in the African American community, unfortunately, we suffer from a lot of mental illness, from passed down trauma from generation, from current trauma that's going on in our lives, from not being taught how to deal with certain things. And a lot of these illnesses have not been even diagnosed, so people don't really know or believe necessarily that they're walking around with a mental illness or a mental lack of just anything, because we haven't been taught to recognize the symptoms, or rather patterns. Even if we were only to practice these behaviors sometimes, at least we'll be moving in a step forward. You know, learning good mental health behaviors would definitely help to combat a number of issues within our communities. Currently, they are operating out of 2 locations, Michigan and in Los Angeles, California. And currently they are crowdfunding on different platforms, one such as Buy the Block. So you can not only be a supporter of this business, get the tech, get your mental health right, you can also invest in this business and be a part owner, have a partnership. So go check out buytheblock.com and invest in their research the business. I'm not going to give investment advice. Research whatever, you know. If you want to invest, go ahead. If you think it's smart, go ahead. If not, don't. You know what I'm saying? Make sure to tell at least one person about this type of technology. This mental health stuff is serious. Social media, you know, just the fast pace of how everything is, and right now culture, you know, share this with somebody, because I know for a fact you will be helping somebody else, giving them the information to know that this is even a thing, right? What is neurofeedback? You know, you get more people researching and looking at those things, and those would definitely benefit. So share this with somebody, spread the word, because you already know the best way, the fastest way, the most effective way is an old tested marketing scheme. It's just through word of mouth.
Start with the vision, then make a killing. You gon' make you $1 million, they gon' make you a villain.